services for our residents as to what we can do, you know, similar to the automated trash system that we put into effect about 5 years ago, and we're going to be finishing up this year, enhancing different services, our recreation facilities that Morris Township is known for, as part of our budget process, and doing the most we can for our residents as our number one priority. With that, we also look to strengthen and maintain our infrastructure. That includes all of our roads and having a very robust repaving program, and then also looking for funds for certain roads being reconstruction, and also going out for grants similar to what we're going out for and received this year for Washington Valley Road, $550,000, half the cost of that project. In previous years, getting grants for Picatinny Road, Bailey Hollow Road, every year finding a project that we can apply for a grant, hopefully receive that from the New Jersey Department of Transportation. And the last thing that we've done in really looking to make sure that our cybersecurity is as tight as it can, we are constantly being attacked with ransomware. People trying to get into our firewalls to obtain our information. We have a very good IT. We're being very proactive in that way. We've brought in consultants to help us. Our IT guys are great engineers and are kind of our consultants. I kind of look as our architects and making sure that everything works together, but also being there for when we have these attacks and assisting us so that we can prevent them from taking any of our data. And it's been very successful. It's that we're constantly battling ransomware and other attacks coming into the system, and we want to protect our data and our taxpayers' information along with all of our municipal records. So it's worked out very well, but we, thanks to the Township Committee, have put a lot of money into that effort, and it has certainly paid off over the last several years.
Can I just add one comment to that?
Yes, sir.
You know, because
Speaking to microphone?
yeah. So, you know, last week when I met with Mr. Quinn, and he kind of just went through what he just went through to describe the cybersecurity practices and procedures that you guys have in place in the township. I was kind of struck because you know, that is a very forward-thinking and ahead of the curve type process that's in place that we don't actually see in a lot of government entities. So I really, you know, applaud the governing body and administration for having, you know, IT security is a very serious emerging issue. It's been a problem, but it's continuing to be a big issue. And the fact that you guys are proactive enough to put those controls in place, safeguard employee data, safeguard taxpayer data, that really speaks to the entity's, you know, approach to making sure there's strong internal controls throughout the organization. So.
Thank you.
As with most years, every year we have budget challenges, and you know, certainly things that we have some control over, some things that we are mandated by the state, and then trying to bring that in so that we're within the 2% tax levy cap, but more importantly that we're not coming anywhere near that 2% tax levy cap and looking at things. This year's challenges, you know, again, our employee costs. We have 170 full-time employees that run the township, and we have another 25 or so part-timers, and then certainly our summer staff for our pools and our recreation program. So Township has always maintained that our non-union employees would get the same raises as our union employees. We've been consistently doing 2% for the last 10 years, since 2011. For that and looking at that, but that's $300,000 just in that. The other big cost that we have, and again, very little control over, is our health and our pension costs. Going back 5-6 years ago, health was going up at sometimes 8 to 10% a year, and it was, you know, a big battle for that. We had 2 years in a row through the state health benefits plan and our third-party administrator for our prescription plan, where we came in at 0% for 2017 and 2018. That ended this year. We came in with 6.7% and 7% on the prescription plan for that. So again, additional funding that we had to find in the budget to make this all work. Pensions went up for the public employees. Pensions went up 5% this year. and our public employee pensions our police and fire pensions went up 12%. So again, another fairly big number in our budget, and finding that additional $235,000 towards that. The other thing we look at is our very robust capital funding project. We have, as you know, a number of recreation facilities. We have 125 miles of roadway, a number of structures with 5 firehouses, municipal buildings, sewer treatment plants that all need to be upkept so they're operating on an optimal performance, and having the funding there to maintain those before they get into disrepair and then costing big dollars. So doing the little repairs that need to be done to avoid the huge repairs, and then moving forward on, again, road reconstructions, road repaving, and updating our recreation facilities are the primary drivers, along with equipment for like DPW for our capital funding project. The nemesis that all municipalities have are tax appeals, especially commercial tax appeals, and making sure that it doesn't have an adverse impact on our residents. Plan that we began back in 2011 was starting to put funding away for these tax appeals, so when they came to settlement, that we had the funding for them without having to dip into fund balance or having to go out to bond, and then being another item in the budget that we have to raise money for to pay off these tax appeals. As you know, although our municipal budget is 25 cents on the dollar, actually is going to drop down to about 23 cents this year, but we're paying back 100% on those tax appeals. Currently we have about $2 million in exposure, but we have, with the help of Ms. DeAngelis in our tax appeal reserve, if all tax appeals came to fruition tomorrow, we would be able to make that payment without having had no adverse impact on our residents. And debt service, this went out to bond back in 2014. Township has always followed the model that we're only going to raise debt